Oh, we've got a little cough there. We're okay?
Today, Pierre Poilievre held an announcement in Hamilton where he laid out a proposal to dismantle illegal encampments. We were fortunate enough to be invited to attend, along with many other local Conservatives, but we didn't intend on crashing the press conference. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happened.
Let's take a look.
I'd like to thank the many members of the Hamilton Police Association who are joining me today. I would also like to thank, based on last night's news, I don't know if you all heard this news, but it's official. The Toronto Police Union is ready for change, and they are endorsing the Conservative plan to make our streets safe for all Canadians.
So that's huge, folks. We have multiple police unions now across Ontario that have thrown their endorsements behind Pierre Poilievre. We have trade unions that have been throwing their endorsements behind Poilievre. There's unions across the country that are actually throwing their endorsement behind it. But the fact that the police unions are essentially saying, this approach that we've been taking for the last 10 years isn't working, and we've been trying to tell you, Liberals, for the last 10 years that it isn't working. And I remember Pierre Poilievre was even reading from... Actually, no, it wasn't Pierre Poilievre. I think it was Melissa Lantsman. She was reading from a paper in the House of Commons talking about the fact that these gun bans aren't doing anything, and they have to do more, and they have to do more. And then Mark Garrison stood up and said, sure, she has to stand up and read gun lobby talking points. Meanwhile, it came back to Melissa Lantsman and said, this was actually gun lobby talking points. This was actually from the chief of police of the Toronto Police Department. But this is what the Liberals will say. So it should say a lot that all of these police unions are saying, none of this is working, and the Conservatives are the only ones that are talking common sense in order to get crime off our streets.
Right. This soft on crime approach is not working, and it's putting regular citizens in harm's way. I mean, when you go home at night, you should be able to trust that when you wake up in the morning, your car is still going to be there. It's not going to be stolen, that your house isn't going to be broken into. You should be able to take your child to the park and not have to worry about people who are strung out, possibly overdosing, or maybe your kid's going to step on a needle. These are all things that the average Canadian should not have to worry about. But unfortunately, we do, and we have had to worry about them the past 10 years.
And there was a tragedy recently in Hamilton where a young student who was going to Mohawk College was gunned down in, I think it was in broad daylight, but it was from an accidental strayed bullet. It was two cars that were shooting at each other, and
she was struck. It was an international student. I mean, for many years before Trudeau and his cronies got involved in it, we had a very good international student program, and families from around the world would take pride in sending their students to Canada for a better education. And now look what's happened.
Well, surprise, surprise, the individual that ended up killing this girl was out on bail. It has to stop. The police unions have spoken. We know which party is going to get crime off our streets, and it certainly isn't the Liberals.
It means the world to me to have the support of our most courageous people. The police who put on a uniform and they leave in the morning kissing their kids goodbye, knowing that they may not return. They do all of that so that you and I can walk our streets safely. Yesterday, I released a plan for change that will make life more affordable and safe in our country. Change means safe streets, good jobs, powerful paychecks. Change means unleashing our resources so we can stand on our own 2 feet and stand up to the world from a position of strength. Over the next 4 years, my plan will cut $55 billion of bureaucracy, consultants, foreign aid, and Liberal waste in order to reduce by 70% the Liberal deficit that we will inherit on Monday. By contrast, Mark Carney, we learned that Mark Carney's platform was actually written for Justin Trudeau. It was actually, this is not a figure of speech. The platform team of the Liberal Party wrote up a platform in the fall, and they gave it to Trudeau. And then when they switched him out and replaced him with his economic advisor, we're okay? All right. I think he was reacting to the deficit in Mark Carney's platform.
So that was Vincent.
That was our son.
I was so embarrassed. And Pierre played it totally cool. Just the way he was able to pivot from his speech and then kind of tie Vincent's outburst into it again, and then he made a joke after that, and you thought it was hilarious. I was mortified. We had our friend Marion with us, who was able to take Vincent outside and get some fresh air, and there was actually a playground out back at the facility where we were, and he was able to play a little bit, and he was much happier being outside than he was in a room listening to his speech, which, I mean, if you're 9 years old, I get it. But it was... Oh, I couldn't believe it.
It ended up being the highlight of the press conference, in my opinion, because it just shows how well Pierre can think on his feet. It shows how well he can take an unexpected situation and turn it into advantage to show his character. And this completely disrupted what he was saying. But even after this, he went on to make a joke about when his child was born and wasn't crying, and the fact that the doctor whispered something in his child's ear, and then the child started crying, and then he went over to the doctor and said, "What did you whisper in my child's ear?" And the doctor said, that now you've just arrived to share the $90,000 of taxpayer debt with everybody else. So it was a great pivot that he made, and then he sailed back into the rest of his speech. But this is where it shows that Pierre is very charismatic, and he came up to us afterwards, as he was saying goodbye and shaking everybody's hand, and Tanya had apologized, and Pierre said, "No, you should have just left him out here. It would have been a lot more exciting."
Well, and I think that just goes to show not only Pierre's character, but Anna's character as well. After Anna had seen Marion take Vincent outside, she followed them, and she went outside and she spent some time with Vincent and Marion, and they were able to have a conversation because Valentina, who is Pierre and Anna's daughter, is also autistic. So I think if anybody gets it, it's these two, and they were just so gracious about the whole incident, and just incredibly kind, and they played it off, they laughed it off, and were just very gracious about everything.
So that was us crashing Pierre's press conference today, and Tanya continued to be worried about it afterwards, but we were having breakfast, and I just looked at Vincent and said, "Vincent, this is how we make memories, and this is going to be a memory that all three of us, well, maybe two of us, but three of us, won't forget for the rest of our lives. It's going to be something that we look back on and we laugh about, and we'll remind Vincent of it, as he gets older." So,
well, and that's the other thing. I think it's just incredible that not only are we able to participate in the political process as independent media and as Canadian citizens, but we can bring our child too, and he gets to meet all these amazing politicians, and everybody is just so kind and understanding. It's not like American politics at all. I feel like American politics, the politicians are they almost have like celebrity status that you can't get close to them. But in Canadian politics, it's completely different. If you get involved, you'll be able to go to events and meet politicians and talk to them and have interesting and embarrassing moments like this. But I think, again, as Ryan said, we're building memories.
So let's get on with the other notable event of the press conference, where Global News actually they framed a question. where they said, Pierre, aren't you, predicting too much that the economy, needs to rebound and that we need to work on that? And Pierre just kind of cocked his head and, well, this is what he said.
Hi, Mr. Polyev, Tria Isri, Global News. Canada could be headed into a recession, yet your platform does not account for this uncertainty. How do you justify that?
Well, my platform, when you say it doesn't account for that, can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, part of your platform projects growth based on projects that have yet to happen, by repealing C-69, by having growth with pipelines that could take years. So I just wonder, should you have erred more on the side of caution, given the fact that we're only a few months into a trade war?
Well, listen, first of all, the reason our economy has no growth and has been in a per capita recession for the last 5 years is because of the policies that Mark Carney advised Justin Trudeau's Liberals to implement. They are the reckless ones. And now what is ultimately the most reckless of all is in a period of uncertainty, Mark Carney says he wants to keep all of the spending that Justin Trudeau planned and then stack $130 billion more spending on top of that for a total of $250 billion of extra inflationary debt that will drive up the cost of food and fuel. Now, you ask me, in a period of economic weakness, after the Liberals have been in power for 3 terms, whether it is wise to campaign on economic growth. It's not only wise, it's essential for a change that we grow our economy. We need to unleash. Of course it is. What would be reckless is to continue with the same Liberal policies. Mr. Carney wants to keep Bill C-69. He wants to keep half of our oil in the ground. He wants to bring in a massive new industrial carbon tax on the steel mills here at Stelco and Dofasco, elsewhere, Algoma, and Evraz, to shut down our steel industry with taxes. That is more Liberal recklessness. What is actually responsible is to unleash our resources by repealing the No Development Law C-69, getting rid of the Liberal energy cap, bringing in the shovel-ready zones that are pre-permitted for construction, incentivizing 2.3 million home builds. All of these projects will put our people to work with powerful paychecks that buy them affordable food and homes for a change. Thank you very much.
Now, right after the gentleman had the microphone said, "Thank you, everyone. That concludes the press conference," or however he had phrased it. Somebody from the French media had asked for the question, or the answer, I should say, to be repeated in French. And so, of course, Pierre indulged him. And it was just such a great reply, both in English and in French, because, again, Global News set up this question trying to trap Pierre. And he was able to push back and say, well, what do you mean by that? And then give a proper answer.
Right, because that's a very general statement. It's like, well, you haven't accounted for that. Well, what do you mean? And then, she had to be specific. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I am, forecasting this for projects that haven't been, approved yet. Because they need to be approved. They need to be approved. And these bills need to be removed in order to actually proceed. So, but if we do that, then yes, we can get these projects done. So how else would you forecast this, lady? It doesn't make any sense. But again, it's a trap question. And he turned it into, a field day on Mark Carney and what the Liberals won't do. Won't do. That's the key thing here, is they want to keep our resources in the ground. By far, our biggest asset in Canada right now is our natural resources. Mark Carney doesn't want to touch them. And this is the issue. So, he's the economist. He should understand that the economy, any economy, has a beginning. And where is that beginning? Raw material. And that raw material doesn't just fall out of the sky.
Right. We've been blessed in Canada with so many natural resources, and many of them regenerate, like our lumber industry, for example. And we're just not taking advantage of them. Canada should be the richest country on this planet, and we're not.
Right. So it was a phenomenal answer. And I think it just goes to show the massive difference between the conservative plan and and the tax plan.